Lagos State Police Command has uncovered a baby factory in the Ijegun area of Lagos, rescuing 10 victims and arresting 3 suspects linked to the operation. The command said the discovery followed a tip-off received last Saturday. Police spokesperson Benjamin Hundeyin, who confirmed the operation on Monday, said officers stormed the location and arrested 35-year-old Miriam Vincent, believed to be the mastermind behind the illegal operation. 2 other suspects, Orie Ruth, 23, and Ajungwa Ifeanyi, 18, were also arrested at the scene. 7 adult women and 3 children were rescued from the facility. The rescued women include Precious, 24, Magdalene, 25, Adaobi, 23, Princess, 22, Ifeanyi, 25, and Amaka, 26. The children identified as Destiny, 7, Miracle, 5, and Constance, 2, and Success 2 are all receiving proper care and support, according to the command. Hundeyin said the suspects confessed to kidnapping the victims from various parts of Lagos and using them to operate the baby factory. He added that investigations are ongoing and the suspects will be charged in court upon conclusion of the probe. Now, in a separate development, the command said 2 kidnapped victims were rescued from Igbe Alagemo in the Jede area of Ikorodu. The victims were abducted during a night attack on March 26, but were rescued 3 days later through a joint effort between the police, local vigilantes, and other security agencies.
Wow.
This idea or this challenge of baby factory, for a while it seemed, to have been a little silence in the background, but now this arrest, is crucial for us to know that the police is still at it and this is still a trend. What are your thoughts on this report?
The truth of the matter is, baby factory, mine is these parents that are encouraging this baby factory, they should actually arrest them as well.
What do you mean, the parents?
It's because if you want to adopt a child, we know that there are motherless baby homes that are registered, that are genuine. You understand me? Now, just having, there was a time I was talking with a lady one time, and she said that they wanted to get a baby, and I was like, okay. He said, no, that there's one agent, that the agent said this one. I said, no, how would you be working with an agent? Do you know where the child is coming from? Do you know that the child is kidnapped? But he said, no. I said, no, go. There are motherless baby homes that you can get to. There are hospitals that you can get to, and officially, you understand me, filed for these things, and they can get you a child, that you can know that this one came from a right source. You see, but the thing is, we know that we have this in everywhere, but I just have to say that our families that are looking for babies can also help uncover these things. When you are looking for, when they are bringing a baby, try to know where this baby is coming from. The source of this baby. You need to know. Because in doing some of these things, because what they do now is they can just kidnap a young girl off the street and then force sex, and the person gets pregnant because you're not going anywhere. You are locked up in chains.
There's even a movie in this regard that's been trending, since the middle of last month. I think it's called Baby Factory, and that was exactly how it happened.
So they will kidnap you and then put you in there, and there's nothing you can do. Sometimes they induce you to have sex. They force the thing, and then at the end of the day, you're just living there as a slave. You don't have a choice of your own. You get pregnant. It's not even like they take care of you very well. The most important thing is once the baby is out, they don't care about you. So this is something I believe that Nigerian police will have to put their ear down and begin to look. And most of the times, some of these nurses, some doctors are involved in all this.
Of course.
Because some of these deliveries are done by nurses and doctors.
Right.
It's not just, they are not just done by those quacks. They are done by trained nurses, trained doctors that are also in this business. So please, it's very, very painful because sometimes some families will just be looking for their sisters, looking for their children, and they can't even find where they are, but they don't know that these children are somewhere locked up and being molested just to produce babies for who? So please, it's something that I believe that with these people too, they should be able to get their suppliers, because these people that they just arrested are just the ones producing but there are people making the demands. There are people funding the operation. The people they arrested now are not the people funding the operation. They should actually, I believe the Nigerian police should be able to stand their ground, refuse to take any bribe from anybody, and investigate the line until they get to the sponsors, because these people they arrested are not the sponsors.
You have, actually, hit the nail on the head on this report. Now, for one of the angles you came in through, you talked about intending parents, or they usually say they are TTC, with trying to conceive parents, trying to, who oftentimes are patronizers of this baby factory practice. Now, how easy do you think adoption is through the legal system? Do you think that it is because of how difficult it is to go through the legal system? People now fall out in line, haven't waited for so long. Now, I made a reference to a movie, right? And that movie, the lady was trying to go through the legal route. That didn't work. It wasn't working. And she's been in line for years, right? And all she wanted was to have a baby. Now, she did not necessarily know that that place was a baby factory where, girls were camped. The story that which they were given, or the storyline of that movie and what the lead actress was told, is that the babies usually come from, the organization seemed or portrayed itself like they were there to help teenage, girls that get pregnant. So they don't need to hold on to their babies. They give them opportunities, keep them there. Then when they give birth, the way it seems on the outside is that they offer opportunities. Now they retrieve these babies and they give the babies over to families that can actually take care of the babies, which seemingly was the core mission of that organization. But eventually, they saw that they were making a lot of money, or they could make a lot of money selling the babies, because many families started coming in. That way, they now start keeping the girls there. It was like a prison, so to speak. Even though they were fed and they had beds and all of the necessary things, they were allowed to walk around, it was still a prison. Right. Now, for what you mentioned, do you think that the systems for adoption is a little too hard? Now, in reference to the movie I just mentioned just now, to getting babies, that is why people opt for, although the lady did not even realize she was buying, because they told her that she was going to be the ambassador and they were going to, give her the babies because she's a big star, and it was going to expand the horizon of their business. More people will get to know about them. She was like an international star of some sort. Do you think that the systems of adoption has become a little bit too tedious for intending parents, that they now fall into the illegal route?
The truth of the matter is this: coming to buy a baby, we need to be sure that you're actually buying because you want to adopt a child that you will train and be a father and a mother, not for ritual purposes,
right?
Not for any other ulterior motive. That's why the process is rigorous, because we need to be sure of who you are. We need to be sure of what you want. Do you understand? So anybody, because if it is something that is easy, someone who wants to do ritual can just get in there. How much is it? They say it's 10,000. You pay and carry the baby and move and go and keep. Do you understand? So the essence of those documentations, those legal stuff, is so that tomorrow we can be able to track this child and know if this child is still alive, if this child grew into society.
Right.
So that even when this child grows up tomorrow and it's like, okay, how did you come about? The child can be able to have some things to fall back on. Because tomorrow, most times, some parents adopt a child, and then after like 1 year of adopting a child, they now give birth to their own. And most of the time, either the mother begins to say, this is not your first son, it's adopted. My son is the first son. Things like that. So when such a child grows in such a family, and the father could stand his ground and say, no, we adopted him, my first son. And then by the time the man dies, this one now want to make it look like he is illegitimate. But because of those processes that were taken, he can go to court and keep his birthright. But if you just go behind the back because you are desperate and just do something shabby and just drop the money and this child is given to you, no traces, what if tomorrow someone denies that child?
Now,
you understand me?
Right.
So for me, I believe that if you want this thing, be patient.
Now, while we are still on the part of being patient, you made reference to someone takes a baby and the baby is not being, you might not be able to trace the child or know what the person uses it for. Our system of child protection services, do you think that, if we had a more inclusive and intentional system where people can follow through to say, we want to be seeing the welfare of this child for so amount of time. Now, because of how rigorous the process already is, core details of where we can find you here and here. What's, this is your house, this is your guarantor, this is where you worship. If all of these systems are put in place, do you think the approach of adoption will be less? The time frame for adoption will be less, giving more parents that are willing and eager to get this babies.
The few people I've seen that adopted, they didn't waste time. They didn't waste time. Most of the times, what makes it waste time is when somebody is saying he needs a day old, 2 days old, 1 week old. Probably the woman is not trying to be sincere with herself, because there's some person that just want it to look like they gave birth to the child. You understand me? If it's adoption, it's adoption. If it is 1 month, if it is 2 months, if it is 1 year, if it's adoption, it's adoption. Do you understand me?
Right.
But just that some people now want it so difficult, they want it a day old, 2 days, 1 week, just so that the woman will begin to pretend like, okay, she's already pregnant, and then they flew out to go and give birth, and then she comes back, just to make the neighbors and family members believe she gave birth to the child. Those ones that are insincere with themselves are the ones actually putting this pressure. They're the ones causing this problem. Do you understand me?
Right.
Because that's the only where now those baby factories comes into play. Because the moment you can come and book the girl, they'll say, okay, we've checked what this girl is carrying is a boy, and you need a boy, right? So this is your own child. The day she gives birth, we'll call you. So that one now, the woman, wherever she is now, can also begin to pretend like she's pregnant, knowing, okay, this is the due date, because some of these rich people, in quote, are the people that can afford these baby factories, and they're the ones encouraging it. There are people sponsoring this thing. For me, the police should do a job, not just beyond getting people, they should also find out the sponsors, because that place is not sponsored by those people that they caught on ground. Those ones are the ones taking care of those girls. There is a sponsor, or there are sponsors. So that's it.